it'll bend you fucking over and take a walk up your strata chocolata while it's sucking the blood out of your neck.
Now, what I will say about this is now, for the runtime of the film, the pacing is pretty good. Even if you ever find yourself starting to lull a little bit, something happens, you have to keep your eye on it. And to what you said, I agree that they took, or should I say paid homage to a lot of 70s and 80s and early 90s horror films with the things they were doing. They didn't shy away from it. They led into it, and it was good.
Yeah, they got, I was making notes like every time I saw something that was, that reminded me of like a horror movie or something from the genre, it did a really good job at paying tribute to like if you're a horror movie fan, you will love this movie because it's having fun with all different versions of the horror genre, from like the paranormal side, the Wolfman side, where like the old school horror movies, the medieval horror. It's got the slapstick horror like Evil Dead. It goes into like the possession, like Exorcist. It's all over the place, but it all blends so well.
They paid homage to another film. Now what's interesting about us covering this is that I literally knew next to nothing about the Foo Fighters, and you knew pretty much a lot. But point being is, I want to ask a question. What's the drummer's name?
Taylor. Can't remember his last name.
Just say Taylor. They paid homage to another movie, Whiplash, because how Dave Grohl was treating Taylor on those fucking drums. I was like, yo.
Not quite my tempo.
I've seen just enough of Whiplash to know what I'm talking about. Right there. Yeah, that is somebody needs to do a supercut back and forth.
I'm doing it. I don't think you are.
Here you go, man. Finish the song.
You did. Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
Speaking of paying homage to horror films of the past, it was badass that the theme of the movie was done by John Carpenter, who of course did the theme and directed Halloween and a shitload of other great horror movies.
Are we missing From Dusk Till Dawn? Or was that Tarantino?
Tarantino.
John Carpenter's Vampires. That's what it was. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, fucking John Carpenter's Vampires has the best line of any movie ever in the history when what's his name? What's his fucking name? It's gonna escape me now. The main guy, where he's like, it'll bend you fucking over and take a walk up your strata chocolata while it's sucking the blood out of your neck.
You stand there with garlic around your neck, one of these buggers will bend you fucking over and take a walk up your strata chocolata while he's sucking the blood out of your neck, all right?
And for the longest time, before subtitles were available or captions were available, I'm like, what the fuck did he say? I'm hearing strata chocolata, but that is not a word. And finally, captions came available on the DVD, and it says strata chocolate. James Woods just pulled that shit out of his ass, just improv. He'll take a walk up your strata chocolata while he's sucking the blood out of your neck. Anyway, but yeah, that John.
Did he say that in the hotel, or would he say that outside the church?
When they're driving somewhere, he's telling somebody that. It was underrated, but yeah, it's crazy that. And I could only imagine how validating that must feel for B.J. McDonald, the director, who is like, you could tell when you go on his social media that he is like, he's a horror fan, true and true. Like, it's going back to his childhood, grew up on like the 80s horror, so it must be so crazy to have John Carpenter doing the theme for your movie.
Well, speaking of the theme, this is the one thing that I did. I mean, it's like, how could you not get it wrong? Because it's what they do. The score for this fucking film it's just amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, even the Foley. I mean, everything was like they went back. Like, you hear it, you feel it, and the fact that, I mean, spoiler alert, you actually get to hear, like, not only we just get to see a movie first, we get to hear music nobody else has heard.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I'm not lying. The shit was going. You see me here like, okay, all right, fuck it, yeah, man. But I'm not gonna. We'll get into it later. But one thing you got to do that I didn't do, you found certain things funny that I didn't, only because I didn't know the history of Foo Fighters. So you got to see some. You're like, dude, no, he's played that song before, like. And then, so yeah, it was dope, man.
I like the reoccurring bit with Grohl and Taylor because they're both drummers. So he's like always fucking with him about changing up how he wants it counted down, like the 5, 6, 7, 8. He's like, Taylor's like a dancer, and
One,
then like
3, 5.
no, only odd numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7.
That shit's crazy, man. I do love it, man. Like I say, this, to be honest with you, this was, I mean, we're gonna get into it later, but as far as like the talking points, it's a fun film.
We all have writer's block.
It really is. And I think if you're in the rock, or if you're in the, you're gonna really love it if you're into the genre.
And you could tell that they had a lot of fun making it. Like you could sense the energy, the dynamics between everybody. You could tell that there was this creative, fun, like really energetic charisma happening on the set. Like for instance, I won't say who or when this fight scene takes place, but I will just say whoever decided, because you have to imagine in the script there's probably like, all right, so and so get into a fight, choreograph on set or whatever. But then when like they're out there and the creativity is flowing and the synergy, somebody has the bright idea. It's like, you know what? Yeah, what if we don't like choreograph up, punch him or kick him or throw him and back and forth? What if we just kick each other in the nuts back and forth over and over again?
Kickball tournament. That's the greatest kickball tournament ever.
It was,
and
it was an,
and he ends with a double foot to the crotch. He went. Spoiler alert.
It was, but yeah, no, won't say who, won't say when, but there's a lot of dick kicking that happens in a particular fight. That's quite tickling.
One of the other things, like I say with the film, that I really loved is that the shots, like the type of shots they were getting, for like the tracking shots, some of the punch-ins and things of that nature. Now, I will say this, as far as they did a mixture of practical and of course some CGI.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have got away with just doing everything practical, to be honest with you, because they really did some creative things with it. But of course, when the crew got,
Yeah, and I think sometimes the CGI helped to like fit in with the theme of the movie being so over the top wherever it went, because like practical, that particular death scene, I couldn't imagine it being as shocking as it was without the like over the top effects added on top of it. The last note that I have is a cameo that happens that I was very pleasantly surprised to see. Mr. Jimmy Simpson shows up in the movie. Fans of Always Sunny will know him as a McPoyle brother. He pops up in there. Doesn't really do anything too extraordinary, but it was cool to see him.
You will call her!